Hello, thanks for being with us today. We're going to talk about Layer 1 and Layer 2 networks, and we have three people from different Layer 1 networks. One is from Ava Labs, the other person is from Ava Labs. Can you introduce yourself, the Selim Kender?
Hi everyone, my name is Selim Kender. I lead the Turkish business development efforts for Ava Labs for projects to launch on. Is my mic on? I don't think it is.
Test. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Now it's working.
Yeah.
Again then, hi, my name is Selim Kender. I'm the head of Turkish business development for Ava Labs, interested in both crypto or Web3 native projects as well as enterprises and institutions of Turkish origin, both domestically and in the diaspora. And the idea is to bring them onto the Avalanche network.
Thank you. Let's meet with Emilio from ICP. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks. All good with the mic?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. My name is Emilio Canessa. I work at DFinity Foundation, which is the non-profit Swiss-based organization that launched the Internet Computer Blockchain. I'm in charge of two pretty large global adoption programs. One is our ICP hubs programs. We have a hub in Turkey as well, together with other 20 around the planet. We can talk a little bit more about it later. And I oversee the community grants program, which is a program that is aimed to support teams and individuals that want to contribute to the growth of the community, of the ecosystem, and of the Internet Computer Protocol in general.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Let's move on with Mr. Mehmet from BNB Chain.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, first of all. Thank you for joining. So this is Mehmet. I've been with BNB Chain for around a year now. BNB Chain is a Layer 1 blockchain, and it was founded by Binance Smart Chain in 2020. What I do there is I do global business development. So basically helping projects build on BNB Chain and focus on onboarding them and their growth with partnerships. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We now know about you, but I'd like to individually know about your networks. So each one of you is representing a Layer 1 network. So can we understand what is the purpose of your Layer 1 network? How are you differentiating yourself from others? So we can move on with you, Mr. Emilio, ICP. Why
Very well. So the Internet Computer Protocol is a pretty powerful network, and the purpose is to add autonomous serverless cloud, decentralized computation to the internet. On the Internet Computer, the idea is to build services or DAOs or enterprises that can run autonomously and without the need of legacy Web 2 infrastructure. The Internet Computer, but I don't know if we want to talk about it later, runs on a pretty innovative and sophisticated consensus mechanism, which in a certain way is a third stage evolution from proof of work to proof of stake to proof of useful work. We can see a little bit more about later. And in general, yes, with the Internet Computer, we think we might see a third stage evolution of blockchain. First one being Bitcoin, second one being Ethereum, third one being the Internet Computer.
Okay. How about Ava Labs? Why Ava Labs is built as a Layer 1 network? How does it differentiate itself from others?
Our aim is to be the most technologically advanced Layer 1 network out there and addressing the scalability problem that's inherent in the Layer 1 networks out there. We pride ourselves in low gas fees and very fast times to finality. We ran about sub 1 second finality, around 700 milliseconds. And we also have, 3 inherent chains that the network started with, but we've also recently added subnets to the system, which is Avalanche's methodology to solve the scalability problem that's inherent in monolithic networks.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to BNB chain, the same question. Why does it exist as a layer 1? What does it do differently?
Yeah, thank you. So when it was founded back in 2020, the goal was to basically provide an ecosystem which is able to onboard the next 1 billion users to Web3. That's what we expect from the future. That's what we hope and work for. And how to do this was basically be cost-effective, scalable, fast, and also, secure. So, those are the elements that we think give strength to our ecosystem. And of course, focusing on the community, coming up with new technology, and it's basically a journey, not a one-time thing, but keep improving. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this was a general question that we now kind of understand what each layer 1 network does. Now I want to get into specific questions that I prepared individually for each other. So each of you. So how about ICPs? Does it have an interesting or different governance system, and how does it aiming to drive adoption?
Oh, very well, yes. The consensus and the governance of the Internet Computer Protocol are, as I said, pretty sophisticated and aims to solve problems that proof of work couldn't solve and proof of stake couldn't solve as well. So proof of useful work is a consensus mechanism that runs on a sovereign network of nodes. I'm keeping it a little simple because that would require a lot of time. The centralized network of nodes is combined in different subnets through chain key cryptography, which is pretty advanced cryptography behind that orchestrate the network. Subnets forms the protocol, the Internet Computer Protocol. On top of it, there is a DAO, Nervous Network System, NNS, which is on the governance side, and make sure that everything runs properly on a protocol level. So in a certain way, it's an evolution and a mix of proof of work and proof of stake. What's important is that nodes on the Internet Computer do not compete for hashing, but rather get penalized if they deviate too much. That makes the network extremely efficient, extremely secure, and also green. In fact, the Internet Computer is probably the greenest protocol around. There is something called Proof of Green. It's a very nice initiative that has been studied, conducted, a few reports around, very interesting. Ideally, they have found out that one transaction on the Internet Computer has the same impact of a third of a Google search, and this is also because of the way the network is built and orchestrated. The NNS, the DAO, is more or less a delegated proof of stake mechanism that runs algorithmically, and it guarantees extreme efficiency. Well, in fact, the Internet Computer is a network that it has been upgraded hundreds of times since Genesis, and every time particularly smoothly, without fraudulent attack or stuff. So it runs in a pretty secure, efficient, and smooth way. That's pretty much it regarding the consensus.
Thank you. So this was an answer that answered as a specific question towards for ICP. So I have another specific question that is related to Eva Labs. So you said that speed and finality is very well improved in Eva Labs. So you chose this way to accomplish something, maybe give a way to developers to choose your network. You try to solve a specific problem. So in general, I think you could have an insight for the question that when there is a developer, a team of developers, trying to choose a layer 1 network for themselves, what should they think about according to what standards and parameters that they need to pay attention to choose a network, and when is the time that they actually specifically choose Eva Labs for their application, for what types of applications?
Look, we don't have a specific subsector focus with respect to the different categories in the Web3 space. So we're active in DeFi, we're active in NFTs, we're active in gaming. Those I would categorize as crypto-native subsectors. In addition to that, before Bitcoin came into our lives about, 14, 15 years ago, there's the real world outside, and there are a lot of applications to be launched with respect to enterprises and institutions as well. For those teams that are developing out there, we believe that we're the best technology out there, and we have a unique way of solving the scalability problem. When there is a lot of traffic, a lot going on the mainnet, which is our C chain, that could cause delays in execution and also an uptick in gas fees. What we tackle this problem with are subnets. Subnets are basically your own blockchain that runs parallel to the mainnet, and that don't get affected in any way by the traffic that is inherent on the mainnet. I.e., you basically have your own blockchain, and you also have the capability to choose your gas fee currency as well. Not everything has to be denominated in AVAX. So I think that provides great flexibility to the teams out there, whether they're crypto native, Web3 native, or enterprises and institutions. Another thing with respect to especially with respect to institutions and enterprises, blockchain is a technology first and foremost, and like any technology, it's suitable for some stuff and it's not suitable for other stuff. With respect to enterprises out there, obviously they have sometimes confidentiality issues, and the way the subnets are designed is you can make them as decentralized as you would like, i.e. a public subnet, or you can make them totally private, where the data in there remains private. And we believe that that provides great, again, flexibility for enterprises and institutions out there as well. Other than that, for developers, we have certain incentive programs that are run either by the Avalanche Foundation or Ava Labs. We have, since our existence, we had the Rush program for DeFi. We had Multiverse, which is valid for gaming projects as well as DeFi projects. We have Avessence, which is for NFTs, and we recently announced the Vista program for real-world tokenization as well, where we aim to draw the developers. I mean, with respect to the developers, it also, the time to choose their network per se can be a bit flexible. depending on what kind of language that they're using for their on-chain activity. We started off as an EVM based layer 1, so Solidity was the main language. But since then, we have published our Rust SDK as well. There is activity with respect to a Move subnet on our platform as well. We're also supporting Hyper through an SDK as well. So we provide flexibility with respect to the computing language that teams want to use. But I think once the teams decide on what language they would prefer, that's probably when they want to seriously look at their options out there.
By the way, I have 2 follow-up questions. I'll go with those after Mr. Mehmet.
Sure.
So for BNB Chain, is there an upcoming new technology solution that is different than what BNB Chain has right now, like something different?
Yeah, thank you for that question. There's actually 2 relatively new projects that we're working on, new products. One is BNB Greenfield, which is a decentralized data storage solution, which will be basically a new economy where there will be storage providers and also applications storing their data with the opportunity of monetizing their data. So that's a product which is on testnet now. Hopefully will be live on mainnet in the upcoming months. And then we have our new layer 2 solution, which is called OPBNB. And basically, it's a good topic for this panel, since it's both layer 1, layer 2 related. And that's basically to solve a need that some of our projects and users had. And it is more cost-effective, more scalable, and that's basically our own layer 2 solution within the ecosystem. But other than that, we are a decentralized foundation, so there are layer 2s being built by external projects as we advise and help and support them grow. So that's just one, and there will be more that we'll support. So those are the 2 main projects that I'd like to inform everyone about.
Okay. Okay. So follow-up questions are coming. So you told us about proof of usability, usefulity,
proof of useful work.
Proof of useful work. Like, how do you actually measure what is useful in a consensus mechanism? Can you give us a little bit elaboration on that?
Yes, for sure. Well, it doesn't have to be taken literally, of course, but with this consensus mechanism and governance mechanism, we aim to tackle 2 problems that both proof of work and proof of stake couldn't solve. Well, in proof of work, which was amazing, Satoshi showed us the light. The problem was to prevent external actors from manipulating blocks and data. So that's why it's so difficult to access. But it's so difficult because it's like a huge hashing factory where you required a lot of computational power just to produce a block.
Yeah.
That's, of course, not really efficiency. Then it came to proof of stake, where you, of course, stake money in exchange of voting power and stuff. But turns out that manipulating a DAO is not that difficult. Malicious actors can, and cryptocurrency is extremely liquid. So it's very easy to, do something like they call malicious attacks or last-minute manipulative voting. That's why both on a node level, then on a governance level, the whole thing is orchestrated in an algorithmic way through chain key cryptography on a consensus mechanism, and through something called, okay, this is a little Star Trek stuff, no, not that much. So through canister software or canister smart contracts, which are an evolution of smart contracts, and basically they represent the software that runs the Internet Computer Protocol. Why they're called canister? Because they are a bundle of WebAssembly code and storage, hence the word canister. In fact, you can store your data on the canisters, hence on the Internet Computer Protocol. That's why we refer to our stuff as 100% on-chain, from the storage to the front end, so end-to-end. The whole thing does not require legacy technology. Let's say Amazon Web Service or other private service to store your front end and stuff. That's in general, let's say, high-level description of the thing. Why is it efficient? Again, as I was saying before, machines do not compete for computation, but they are assigned a standard. And the game is to keep as close as possible, to keep the deviation as close as possible to the standard. So in a certain way, node providers are penalized if they deviate too much from the standard. As well, the aim is to go toward real decentralization. So there's something called deterministic decentralization. So the node providers are sort of vetted and assigned on a DAO level based on different parameters, and even the rewards are different in order to guarantee a bigger decentralization in geographical terms and also in entity terms. For example, starting a node in a country that is not present at the moment will make you entitled to bigger rewards. Or if you already have a node in a certain country and you want to open yourself a node in another country, rewards will penalize you. So in this way, we really try to aim for a big global and true decentralization.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, follow-up question with subnets. So I guess those subnets, when you can create a subnet with your token, and in that subnet people can spend your token. So the following up with the previous one, like which subnets, what is the usage of those subnets for specific, so what is the high percentage of the applications that utilize that subnet structure or architecture?
It is a newish development that we launched. We talked about it was in the original roadmap, and we launched this, I guess, about a year ago in earnest. What we're seeing right now is some DeFi projects, some decentralized exchanges that have their own specific subnets. Another area that we're seeing is gaming. You know, the play and earn games are coming, and if they are as successful as their cousins in the Web2 world, that's going to be a lot of eyeballs, that's going to be a lot of users that are playing those games. So the subnet is an ideal solution.
Subnet, can it be considered something like layer 2, like a form of layer 2, is it?
It is our alternative to the layer 2s, which we believe, from a functionality point of view, is a layer 2 that works and that doesn't have the inherent risks that some of the layer 2s have, because they're dependent on the layer 1 that they're built on. These run separately, totally separately, and there is, you know, theoretically, there is no limit on how many subnets that can be launched on the Avalanche ecosystem. So that's the solution.
Okay, thank
and
you.
I think, like I said, you can make them private as well. So as more enterprise solutions enter the arena, I think there will be a mix of private subnets and public subnets where they will, you know, commercially confidential stuff, it'll be on private subnets. and customer-facing things are going to be on private subnets or C-chain, depending on the usage. But I think on another topic, I think the enterprises are also expecting regulation globally, because that's something that we're lacking, which hopefully will get resolved in the coming years, sooner rather than later, so adoption rates increase.
Okay, thank you. So about the people are going to be able to sell their data with that new technology solution, right? So people are going to own their data through a private key, and then they will be able to sell it. And you also told us about it's kind of a layer 2 solution to BNB chain, correct?
So, thank you. Yeah, great question. So it's a separate blockchain. As of now, it is communicating with BNB chain. In the future, depending, not as a certain, answer, but maybe it might even communicate with other chains potentially. So we are trying to, remain as decentralized as possible with every product. And Greenfield basically allows you to choose which storage provider you want to work with, as your data will be stored. But the metadata, the ownership, of the data will be on the blockchain, and therefore, actually, really yours. Confidentiality and privacy can be an issue when you depend on third parties. So the goal here is basically to provide that ownership that our industry is pretty much very, very caring about. So yeah, that is what the goal is. And now it's on testnet. I'm sure over time we will have demands. The product will keep improving, remain flexible. So yeah, we're excited.
Is there an anticipation date of it is being launched on the mainnet?
So it is not announced yet. So no, not yet. Yeah, but hopefully not so far away.
Okay, thank you. So this is, since this is a layer 1, layer 2 titled panel, I'd like to ask this kind of a challenging question, which is, as representing layer 1 networks, do you see layer 2 networks as a threat to layer 1? If not, why? If so, why? And if there are some trade-offs, what are those trade-offs? I can start with you.
For sure. Well, this is a little bit of a broader discussion.
Yeah. We have 7.5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, briefly,
Enough time for us to solve that
yeah,
question, right?
This is not enough time to solve this problem, but considering the actual effort that I've seen going on in the Ethereum community in terms of scalability and everything else, most of this layer 1, layer 2 will have a very hard time unless they have a very strong and solid technological base and selling proposition. This is my message for the audience. So the usual faster, better, stronger, cheaper won't work for long. That's why we think at DFinity Foundation that the Internet computer has the strong fundamentals, the capabilities, and the functionalities to be a complement to Ethereum, therefore act as a computational layer on top of Ethereum. That could then be a settlement layer. There is something called world computer, which is a very interesting concept, and that would be a mix of Ethereum and the Internet computer. Aside from that, well, concerning the IC, it's a pretty consumer-facing and full-stack blockchain. So there is not that much layer 2 activity going on, and anyway, absolutely is not considered competition. I can't speak for others, but yes, my main point is that one. Considering the effort that are actually going on around Ethereum, L1s, L2s that are not strongly positioned, will probably have a very hard time. All of them.
How about you?
I kind of alluded to my answer as well regarding this issue, right? I mean, look, L2s are inherently dependent on the L1 that they're built. So if something goes awry on that L1, the L2s are affected by that, i.e. something goes awry in them as well. So far, we're also witnessing decentralization issues with respect to the L2s. They're pretty concentrated efforts. So, you know, our answer as Avalanche to the scalability thing is the subnets. Like I alluded to the advantages of launching a subnet rather than doing something on an L2. And I'll add to that, if something goes awry on the Avalanche C chain, your subnet still keeps performing. So you're not really dependent on the situation. And like I said, you can adjust the centralization to decentralization amplitude of your subnet as the developer, as the project that launches the subnet, basically.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah, sorry, after long answers. Can I have the question again just to make sure remember correctly?
Sure. The question is, as layer 1 and now layer 2 solutions are coming and they seem like they're pretty competitive, do you see it as a competition, and how do you see the future of layer 1s as from BNB chain?
Yeah, sure, thank you. So I would say yes and no at the same time, because you know, the same project, like same DeFi protocol, can be multi-chain. So in that sense, they can compete. You know, one has more users over the other. You know, one can get the other one's user, etc. So that's a competition. But at the same time, there are synergies and there are compatibilities, and they're also dependent. You know, layer 2s solve some important issues, such as being cost effective, being scalable, etc. In terms of the prediction of the future, I wouldn't want just especially one blockchain or one type of blockchain to be dominant, because that doesn't sound very decentralized to me. But I would rather have different new innovation that keeps offering more useful use cases to Web3 and Web2 projects. And also, I believe that now we have, before we only had layer 1s, right? Then layer 2s, etc. So the industry keeps growing. I think that will also continue. There will be new technologies that no one has ever thought of before. I'm sure of that. So I think it's going to keep growing and changing, and I don't really see like one type of thing being the dominant player. And I think it will be, as changing and very flexible ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree. I want to add a point which is additional to what you guys said. Even though there are multiple layer 1s, and even though that scalability is completely solved, those layer 2s are going to be relying on completely on Ethereum. So it's not really much decentralization, and as the layer 1 Ethereum would dominate the world. We wouldn't like that, and it shouldn't happen. So layer 2s solve the scalability, but they create another monopoly. So layer 1, as I said, other layer 1 networks shouldn't go anywhere to keep the decentralization alive. So I think
and I think the future is multi-chain. So there is not, at least right now, there is not enough capacity across all layer 1s to, if things go as we on the stage hope they will go with respect to the adoption of blockchain technology for the next billion, and then the next 3 billion, 5 billion, why? As penetration increases, at least from a capacity point of view. Obviously, there will be technological advancements as well, but I think the foreseeable future will be multi-chain.
Yeah, we can also consider layer ones as like different countries. Like if something goes wrong there, you can migrate to another one. So we will need those layer one networks to, if there is like a dictator of a layer one, we can just migrate to the other.
Well, as we're running out of time now, you're opening a new can of worms, which is interoperability.
Oh, yeah. But let's let it on. Yeah. Okay, so thank everybody for the panel, listening to the panel. We tried to eliminate some concepts from different chains that coming from like ICP, Ava Labs, and BNB chain. We tried to understand what they're trying to do and their view towards layer 2 networks and how they perceive the layer 1s in relation to their layer 1 networks. So thanks again, and see you in the next time.